Hello little buns, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. Today I wanted to do a personality test because quite frankly it seems like it would be fun. Somebody on YouNow actually requested it, which is a live streaming service. If you guys weren't already aware, I try to live stream as much as possible. I'm starting to get back into a really good habit of live streaming every day that I don't upload a video. So if you want to hang out in real time with maybe the dog sometimes, look, she's licking the hand. She has a craving that only hands can satisfy. Then you can find me on YouNow on most days where I don't upload. I have my handy dandy laptop. We are going to go to the website for the personality test. Liz, did you lick the back of the laptop? What are you doing? The website is of course, World Wide Web, what up? 16personalities.com, and it's a free personality test. This is not a sponsored video. This is a very common personality test that people will do, and I've seen even like in dating profiles or, you know, on like Twitter bios, I've seen the personality types. It's the ones that are like 4 letters, sometimes there's a dash and another letter. Those are the kind of personality types that you're gonna get from this test. So if you wanna follow along or do your own, you can find the link in the description box. It's super simple. It has 3 little disclaimers. The first one says, takes less than 12 minutes, answer honestly even if you don't like the answer, and try not to leave any neutral answers. The scale of answering, right, like the options you have are, there are 7 bubbles. There is a large agree, a medium agree, and a small agree. There's a neutral one in the middle, and then there's a small disagree, medium disagree, and large disagree. So you basically respond to the question with whether you agree or disagree and how much, right? I am not going to vocalize every question here because that will be like an hour-long video just because there's so many and I would have to explain the answers. So I'm gonna only read out and explain my answers for specific or interesting ones. But there are quite a few questions. It won't take you that long though if you're not talking out loud like I am. Like, you know, who does that? I don't know who does that. I also am snacking on Fuzzy Peaches occasionally, which is, for the record, the best candy of all time. Here's an interesting one. Being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. That's a big disagree to me. I think being adaptable is one of the most important things. I think growing, changing, and learning is something you never stop doing. So, you know, I don't think being organized holds a candle to living in changing times. You know what I mean? Another interesting one, winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. So you value feelings over being right. This is tricky because I value being right when it comes to moral issues. I value, you know, I believe there is a wrong answer to the question of, you know, are white people superior? Obviously not, no. And in that kind of situation, if somebody's trying to be racist and is like saying, oh, like, yeah, I'm Richard Spencer, right? I don't value his feelings, even a little bit. So in a situation like that, winning the debate matters more to me. But do we consider that a debate? Because a debate usually has 2 viable sides, and that is not a situation where there are 2 viable sides. I don't know. You do not mind being at the center of attention. Big agree. Wow, it's almost like that's my job. In discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. Big ol' agree. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. I think I worry about that too much. I mean, is that possible though? You know, I think it's important to be aware of the consequences of your actions and who they're affecting. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than to a methodical and organized approach. I don't think I've ever had anything describe me more accurately in my life. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is the most important part of every project. Big disagree. Not big disagree, medium disagree. Because I think the best and most interesting things can come out of improvised work, you know? It's not like, you know, people making amazing, wonderful, critically acclaimed films. They aren't sticking to the script 100%. They're not sticking to the plan 100%. They're being creative. You know, they're changing things as they come along to create better work. And I think it's incredibly important that you allow yourself to do that. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. I always get carried away by fantasies and ideas, so I'm gonna say disagree big. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. This statement kind of, there are a million ways to be smart. What this question is asking more is, as a parent, you would rather see your child grow up to be self-aware and respectful than know how to do math. There are people that are incredibly good at mathematics or sciences that are awful at being kind. And I believe you can be smart by being kind. That is a way of being talented. That is a way of being great. There is greatness in kindness. You know what I mean? So I absolutely would agree that I would rather see my child grow up kind than good at math. Fuck math. Who cares? Not me. You are more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Accurate. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical, yet intriguing ideas. Accurate. You would rather improvise and spend time coming up with a detailed plan. Accurate. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees. Very accurate. I would try my best to improve their performance first, you know, because if they're loyal, I think they would try hard. And if they can't provide that work, then I guess I would just have to, maybe I would change their role. You know, if I really liked them, maybe I'd try to find something else for them to do if that was possible. I don't know. Are you licking my computer again? I love you so much. You're beautiful. You're perfect. You are perfect. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence. Agree. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. I disagree with this. If your friend is sad about something, you are more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. Okay, I try to offer emotional support, I'm just horrible at it. I think it's because, like earlier, you know, I had that question that was like, oh, you feel other people's feelings or whatever, right? When somebody is sad around me, I kind of just get like, I get in my mode when I'm upset, which is how do I fix this? And then I try to offer those solutions to them. I don't get in a place where I can be happy and kind towards them because they're bringing me down, you know, and that's not their fault, that's not a problem. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be sad around me, but I don't know. I just don't, I'm not good at comforting people in that way. You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it. I am the worst at that. I don't have a schedule. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. Teamwork, keyword here. I don't think being cooperative is more important than being right in an issue like, I don't know, Nazism. You know, I'm not gonna cooperate with a Nazi because he's a fucking Nazi. But let's say I'm on a team at work and we're disagreeing over what color a banner should be. Okay, I'm gonna cooperate because that's not a big fucking deal and it's gonna make everything a lot easier. But there are certain situations in which being right is absolutely more important. But it says when it comes to teamwork, so I'm gonna say disagree. Because being right is not more important when it comes to teamwork. Oh my god. You think that everyone's views should be respected regardless of whether or not they are supported by facts. Disagree. I do not think that Nazis' views should be respected because they're not supported by facts and they're harmful and they're hurting people. If your view is not supported by facts but it's not hurting anybody, that's fine. That is so okay. I don't care. But if your view is not supported by facts and it's leading to genocide, murder, institutionalized oppression of people, I don't respect it. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. I feel like I need to sleep for 8 years, actually. Okay, here's the results. It says mediator is my personality type, but then there's the letters. But it breaks it down into like percentages of like where your personality is balanced. So I am 51% introverted and 49% extroverted, so I'm very balanced, and I think that's accurate. I can attest to that. The way I direct my mental energy is 91% intuitive and 9% observant. That is so true. I care more about how things feel and reading the room than what I planned on doing. You know what I mean? My nature leans more towards feeling than thinking, 64% to 36%. That sounds about right as well. The way I approach work planning and decision making is based more on prospecting than judging. I don't know what that means exactly, but 72% to 28%, okay. I am 78% confident in my abilities and decisions, basically. It says identity, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. 78% assertive, 22% turbulent. So I think that's good. That means like, I'm sure of myself, I think. Good, cool, thank you. You can read, like there's an overview, an introduction, then there's strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood, career paths, workplace habits, the conclusion, so like how your personality type deals with all of that with an introduction and a conclusion about it. And then you can also buy like a almost 200-page book about your personality type, which I'm not gonna do because there's a lot of information right here. So I'm gonna scan through this and find interesting bits, you know, that I think are accurate or maybe inaccurate, but I think this is gonna be pretty accurate, to be fair. Mediator personalities are true idealists, always looking for the hint of good in even the worst of people and events, searching for ways to make things better. Comprising just 4% of the population, the risk of feeling misunderstood is unfortunately high for the mediator personality type. That's fair. I think, you know, especially when you have, you know, causes that you're passionate about, people can focus more on little bits and pieces rather than the big picture, and that is definitely a misunderstood feeling. Being a part of the diplomat role group, mediators are guided by their principles rather than by logic, excitement, or practicality. I think that's fair. I think there are things in this world that are right, and I think we need to stand up for them. And I think that's more important than saving money or what feels good. You know what I mean? When deciding how to move forward, they will look to honor, beauty, morality, and virtue. That sounds nice. Mediators are led by the purity of their intent, not rewards and punishments. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Fantasy worlds in particular fascinate mediators more than any other personality type. That is so accurate. I pretty much grew up in fantasy worlds and video games and books, and I still love them to death. I am obsessed. The strength of their visionary communication style lends itself well to creative works, and it comes as no surprise that many famous mediators are poets, writers, and actors. Interesting. Understanding themselves and their place in the world is important to mediators, and they explore these ideas by projecting themselves into their work. Yeah, I'm a self-inserting piece of shit, so that's accurate. Apparently we're supposed to be gifted with language, but I am horrible at learning languages, so I guess I missed that memo or something. Unlike their extroverted cousins, mediators will focus their attention on just a few people, a single worthy cause. Spread too thinly, they'll run out of energy and even become dejected and overwhelmed by all the bad in the world that they can't fix. If they're not careful, mediators can lose themselves in their quest for good and neglect the day-to-day upkeep that life demands. Mediators often drift deep into thought, enjoying contemplating the hypothetical and the philosophical more than any other personality type. Left unchecked, mediators may start to lose touch, withdrawing into hermit mode, and it can take a great deal of energy from their friends or partner to bring them back to the real world. Stop. I have described withdrawing into hermit mode as a consistent thing I do for a long time. I've always done that because I just get so sick of the shit that I just have to be like cocooned for a little while. And it's so hard to get out of that, and I feel like I'm in that right now, and that's why you guys might have noticed that I'm uploading less frequently and I'm kind of just being terrible at my job, which sucks. I don't like it. I know it's happening, and I'm trying really hard to get out of it, but like this says, it can take a great deal of energy. So let's see, I'm doing my best. We'll see. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, idealistic. The unshaken belief that all people are inherently good, perhaps simply misunderstood, lends itself to an incredibly resilient attitude in the face of hardship. One thing about this, I don't believe that everybody's inherently good and perhaps misunderstood. I think everybody's inherently good and perhaps misunderstands, right? For example, Nazis. I know I keep bringing them up, but hey, it's relevant, they exist, and we need to talk about it. I don't think they are misunderstood. I think they misunderstand a hell of a lot of things, okay? I think that they have the power and the potential to be good and to love people and to be kind and to not be racist, horrible fuckwads. But, you know, they misunderstand. Therefore, they are causing harm, damage, hatred, all this shit. I don't think they are misunderstood. I think they misunderstand. There are some people that are misunderstood, but that is not always the case. Seek value and harmony. Open-minded and flexible. And a live and let live attitude comes naturally to mediators, and they dislike being constrained by rules. I hate rules. I do not work well with authority. I would not like to have a boss ever again in my life. Very creative. Oh, thanks. I do my best. I try my hardest. Dedicated and hardworking. While others focusing on the challenges of the moment may give up when the going gets tough, mediators, especially assertive ones, have the benefit of their far-reaching vision to help them through hard situations. Knowing what they're doing is meaningful gives people with this personality type a sense of purpose and even courage when it comes to accomplishing something they believe in. Blah, 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 rah, rah, rah. Okay, that's a lot of words, but I will say I don't remember the last time I gave up on something, and sometimes it's to my detriment, sometimes it's a bad thing. Weaknesses, here we go, here's the good shit. Too idealistic. Mediators often take their idealism too far, setting themselves up for disappointment as, again and again, evil things happen in the world. This is true on a personal level too, as mediators may not just idealize their partners, but idolize them, forgetting that no one is perfect. Okay. Accurate. Impractical. When something captures mediators' imagination, they can neglect practical matters like day-to-day maintenance and simple pleasures. Dislike dealing with data. Mediators are often so focused on the big picture that they forget the forest is made up of individual trees. Shit. Mediators are in tune with emotions and morality, and when facts and data contradict their ideals, it can be a real challenge for them. Here's the thing with facts and data that contradict ideals, okay? And it's that, like, let's say, for example, you know, all those crime statistics that were used in racist news segments where they were like, oh, black people are violent, right? The data is 9 times out of 10 taken out of context. It's not compared or contrasted to the right data, you know, to support their conclusion, because the right data would prove them wrong. This data is often collected by biased individuals or by the same kind of person over and over and over again, so it skews what the numbers are and what they mean. Data is not always accurate. It can be gathered and it can be put on paper, but that does not mean that it's accurate. And just assuming that it's accurate is a horrible thing to do. It's awful. For example, let's say, the statistical analysis of how women are better at language and men are better at sports, okay, for example. The reason we think men are better at sports is because women historically have not been allowed to play sports, have not been allowed to be athletic, have not been allowed to practice these things. And therefore, statistically, we're not as interested in it because they weren't brought up to be interested in it. That does not mean that women are inherently not as good at sports. The same thing with language. Women are inherently taught to communicate better. They're taught to care more about words and feelings and thoughts like that. Oh my god, I can't even, I'm so fired up. And men are inherently usually raised to sweep their feelings under the rug, to bottle things up, to not worry about communicating, to be assertive, to just go for it. Different ways of raising these different people have skewed this data to look like it's inherent, it's biologically inherent, when that's not the case. It's because of the social situations, the environment around these people. Data is garbage because it's not always true. I mean, that doesn't apply to all data in the whole world, okay, obviously, but just bear with me with that. That's why I just like dealing with data. So now we're in the relationship section. Relationships. Mediators are dreamy idealists, and in pursuit of the perfect relationship, this quality shows strongest. Never short on imagination, mediators dream of the perfect relationship. I have so much sugar in my mouth right now. It's making me go like, and I can't talk. Lucy, are you trying to cuddle? You're so cute. I love you. They form an image of this pedestaled ideal that is their soulmate, playing and replaying scenarios in their heads of how things will be. I do that every single night, actually. This is a role that no person can hope to fill, and people with the mediator personality type need to recognize that nobody's perfect, and that relationships don't just magically fall into place. They take compromise, understanding, and effort. I think that's fair, and that's something that, consciously I know that, but subconsciously maybe I don't. Fortunately, mediators' tendency to focus their attention on just a few people in their lives means that they will approach new relationships wholeheartedly with a sense of inherent value, dedication, and trust. I think that's absolutely true. Every single relationship I've been in, I have put my feet in double. Like, they're both in there. And that doesn't mean I come off really intense or strong right in the beginning. It just means that I am committed to making this work, and I try my best because I do place value on those relationships. As a relationship takes hold, people with the mediator personality type will show themselves to be passionate, hopeless romantics, while still respecting their partner's independence. Mediators take the time to understand those they care about, while at the same time helping them to learn, grow, and change. Didn't I use those exact words like 5 seconds ago? While mediators are well-meaning, not everyone appreciates what can come across as constantly being told that they need to improve, or in other words, that they're not good enough. That is so true. Oh, I've had that from like every serious boyfriend I've had, and from my family, and from some friends too. Yeah, where it's like I challenge an idea that they have, or I say, this is not good because of this reason, this harms people because of this reason, and people will see that or hear it, and instead of thinking, oh, I should change this because I could, be kinder, or there are other ways to say this that are just better and don't hurt anybody, right? But they don't see it like that, and I think that's fair because I don't always word it like that. Instead, they see it like a personal attack on their intelligence or something, which is not what it is, but I can understand why some people think that for sure. I absolutely see that. Between their sensitivity and imagination, mediators are prone to internalizing even objective statements and facts, reading into them themes and exaggerated consequences, sometimes responding as though these comments are metaphors designed to threaten the very foundations of their principles. Wow, okay. I don't know about my principles, but I once had a boyfriend that I would try taking pictures of him, just because that was fun. And everybody likes pictures to post or whatever, right? And he just wouldn't use the ones that I would take, and he would take his own. And I would ask for him to try to explain what I could do better so that I can take these for him so that they can be great. And he kind of dismissed it. And I read into that he thinks I'm stupid and that I'm bad at taking pictures and that I'm gonna be replaced. So, yeah, that's true. Naturally, this is almost certainly an overreaction, and mediators should practice what they preach and focus on improving their ability to respond to criticism with calm objectivity rather than irrational accusations and weaponized guilt. Okay, fine, okay, all right, I'll do it. But that's at their uncommon worst. At their best, mediators do everything they can to be the ideal partner, staying true to themselves and encouraging their partners to do the same. Thank you. Mediators take their time in becoming physically intimate so that they can get to know their partners using their creativity to understand their wants and needs and adapt to them. Thank you. People with this personality type are generous in their affection. That's so nice. It's so nice. I hope that's true. I'm gonna skip the friendship section because it's not very juicy, if we're being honest. It's just they take time to get to know people because they're wounded, basically. I'm also gonna skip the parenting section. I'm gonna skip workplace habits because that sounds boring because I don't have a workplace. Sorry. So sorry. Conclusion. Few personality types are as poetic and kind-hearted as mediators. Thank you. Their altruism and vivid imagination allow mediators to overcome many challenging obstacles, more often than not brightening the lives of those around them. Thank you. Mediators' creativity is invaluable in many areas, including their own personal growth. Thank you. Oh, the rest of it's basically hey, buy our big book now. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you take it yourself because it is free. Why not just do it? It gave me some interesting insights, and I think it's just a fun thing to do. I think it's always good to learn about yourself, so that you can grow and change and become a better person and do greater things. So, you know, if something as simple as taking a 12-minute personality test can give you some cool insights and reflectiveness, maybe just do it, I don't know. If you do the test, let me know what your personality type is in the comments and what you think of it and if you think it's accurate and all that good stuff. I think it'd be really fun to talk about this in the comments. Until next time, just remember, you can never stop learning and growing and changing. So just, you know, be open to those possibilities and then be open to learning new things and learning about, you know, different people or different places or different things, like nouns, right? People, places, or things. I love nouns. I love you so much. Bye.